Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, Mr. President, and the whole of your very distinguished party, first a warm welcome to Chatham House on a special occasion. Let me just start with a little bit of housekeeping, if I may, and then get into, even on silent mode apparently, it will make the sound system buzz and sound unpleasant, and I know that what we really want to hear is from the President rather than feedback from our mobile phones. So if you could turn those off, that would be very, very helpful. And also, may I just say now, at the end of our session, if you could remain seated whilst His Excellency leaves, that would also be very helpful in managing the flow of the afternoon. As I said, a very warm welcome. My name's David Treesman, Lord Treesman. I was Foreign Office Minister. Among my responsibilities, I was Minister for Africa. And you will understand, took a very, very close interest in many events on the continent, but not least the developments in Somaliland. And for me, it's a very great privilege, sir, if I may say so, to be here with you, the newly elected President. Congratulations on that. But particularly interesting for me, and I will be very brief about this, but particularly interesting for me because in policy terms, I found myself frequently talking with colleagues in the European Union and in the African Union and trying to persuade them that the movement toward full recognized independence was not only an inevitability, but was incredibly desirable. I won't tell you that everybody immediately agreed with me, otherwise maybe we would have made more progress. But nonetheless, it was my conviction, it remains my conviction, and that is one of the reasons, whatever the attendant difficulties may be, that I enjoy so passionately the developments in Somaliland, in democracy, in security, in the example that is provided to a region that needs democracy and security and a proper rule of law. For me, that was a great passion, and you, sir, and your government and your country reflect what I always thought were among the very greatest attributes that we could seek, so I stick to my position. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the President Silanyo of Somaliland. I think probably everybody here knows a great deal about him. Currently the chairman of the Peace, Unity and Development Party in your country, and have spent time here, I'm glad to say, in your second home in England, where you've had to spend time from time to time. I think for all of us, we're looking forward to a very, very fine session. It's my pleasure, on behalf of everybody in this room, to welcome you to Chatham House and to welcome you to London. Thank you.
Lord Treesman, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues and friends, it gives me great pleasure to be with you here as the representative of my people and our country, Somaliland. I'm most grateful to Chatham House and the Royal Institute for International Affairs for extending this kind invitation to us. It's symbolic of the long-standing interest and commitment to constructive dialogue and positive engagement on the important issues affecting the Somali people that the Royal Institute for International Affairs and its members have illustrated over many years and decades. I'm also aware of your recent work on the livestock trade in the Horn of Africa, as well as your recent examination of the problems of insurgency, terrorism, and economic hardship in the region. These are the areas of fundamental importance for Somaliland and the region more widely. At the same time, I know that your interest in our corner of the world is only a small part of the large work done by the Chatham House in its catalytic role in encouraging international debate about our continent, Africa. I would also like to take this opportunity to salute the Somaliland diaspora living in the United Kingdom, without whose unflinching support, encouragement and commitment to the cause of their people, Somaliland would be a thoroughly different place. I'm delighted to see some members of that community represented here today. I should also like to express my profound gratitude to the British government, including Prime Minister David Cameron, Minister for Africa, Mr. Henry Bellingham, and members of the Somali All-Party Parliamentary Group led by Alan Michael, MP, for their consistent support and continuing engagement on the key issues of concern for the people of Somaliland. We in Somaliland have always been keenly appreciative of the special friendship between our two nations, deeply rooted in history and a commitment to democracy, human rights, and freedom. My government and I look forward to further strengthening these links and collaborating on issues of mutual interest for the benefit of our countries and our people. My message to you today is one of hope in an otherwise often bleak region of the Horn of Africa. We in Somaliland are no longer content to be Africa's best-kept secret, but have launched upon the unstoppable trajectory towards becoming a full-functioning and responsible member of the international community of states in keeping with our rights and obligations under international law. I shall take the opportunity today to talk to you briefly about recent developments as well as issues of importance for our country. Following in the footsteps of the first presidential election in 2003 and the parliamentary elections of 2005, the presidential elections on 26 June 2010 marked almost 20 years since Somaliland reclaimed its sovereignty and 50 years since the end of the British protectorate. Despite security threats able to discourage and stifle the will of the electorate, over 1 million people queued from early dawn in the blistering summer heat, determined to peacefully cast their ballot and vote. Many of these voters were women and youth. International observers determined the results of the elections to be free and fair. My popular mandate derives from this process, of which I am very proud and humbled. With the ensuing peaceful transition and handover, Somaliland once again set itself apart from many countries in Africa and distinguished itself in a corner of the world often synonymous with instability, lack of security, and absence of the rule of law. We believe that the success of our elections has demonstrated Somaliland's commitment to the democratic principles, human rights, the rule of law, and good governance, which are enshrined in the Constitutive Act of the African Union. I'm immensely proud of the achievements of my people, born out of struggle for survival and recognition in the face of isolation and hardship. I want to take this opportunity to pay tribute to the people of Somaliland and ask them to remain steadfast in their commitment to peace, democracy, and the rule of law. I also want to express my profound gratitude to our growing number of friends in the international community, including Great Britain, who stood by us throughout our struggles and whom we will continue to draw on for support, wise counsel, and friendship in the days, months, and years ahead. One consequence of the delayed presidential elections is that local elections have also been pushed back. However, my administration has ambitious development plans. There is an urgent need to tackle poverty, enhance institutional governance capacity, and increase access to basic services, including health and education. We will need support in this endeavor. Having previously suffered from years of neglect by Mogadishu and compounded by the conflict that followed, as well as the somewhat uncertain approach of the international community, Somaliland has a difficult past. However, a tremendous amount has been achieved in the past 20 years. Under my administration, we will seek to find new opportunities